Artist Journal, September 13th, 2022. Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and I welcome you back. We are back. We are all back. Thank you for once again joining me. Some very nice comments. Let's look at the comments really quickly. There's a lot of comments, but we're going to just take a couple. There's not that many comments, but there's enough for us to kind of almost fill a show with. We're going to look at the art, don't worry. But quick thank you and shout out back to Rustic Digital Art, who sent me a copy of this work that we were talking about a couple of shows ago. And he was just happy to have his finding out you took time in your journal to speak about my work and made me really happy. Well, again, as someone messaged me and is this is great, thank you. And I just thought, you know what? It doesn't take me much time, and it seems to make people happy. It makes me happy, so I'm more than happy to do this. And it's funny because now, I do have an interview on Thursday, and on Wednesday some Twitter Spaces, which actually looks super interesting. They seem very prepared. So more details on that, I guess, tomorrow. Who was that? Maybe we can find that before we go. But it looks really interesting. Otherwise, you can just look for my Twitter feed tomorrow afternoon, Europe time. So maybe that's in the morning, North America time. And I guess in the evening, Asia time. Anyways, we're global audience, small but growing global audience. So anyways, thank you to Rustic Digital Art and Vidal Hararav for sending the video to Rustic Digital Art. Super cool. And very nice comment from Terry Visual here. Big thanks and shout out to Pocobelli for featuring Kurt Hustle 97. Well, no problem. I love your work. It kind of got me into video. And that's what I think video should be about in my universe. People make art for different reasons and they consume it for different reasons. So everybody is just coming from their own viewpoint. But for me, this is what video art is. That's what I love. The kind of video art I love. Let's put it that way. Very diplomatically here. Just want to start with these blueprints. Cool series by Side Hustle, who you might remember from the Giorgio Dakiriko series. This guy puts out a lot of work. Also works with LB here. Nice, cool collaboration they've had ongoing. Where LB puts in video. Again, this is all GIF. So again, this is kind of as I'm building the museum in my mind, this is all kind of museum type work, isn't it? Because it's intellectually interesting. We're not just making pretty pictures here. It's interesting. And it's even this weird, thing at the end here where the architecture turns into video, again, and so you have the screens, modern iconography, the weird architecture. And look, I didn't even expect to, that's how much the abundance of Tezos, as I call it, and of digital art in general. It's not unique to this chain, but this blockchain has a remarkable, you might say they have the market a little bit cornered, or they have a great kind of portion of the market. This is a great one. I want to just quickly show the Dakiriko series, this one. We recognize this artist, I think most of us, and so this is a homage. So you might remember Side Hustle from me talking about that, Giorgio number 2. So back to this. So this is a blueprint series, the modular room. Again, I love this motif of keyboards, and here's synths and modular synths. Really nicely done. It's kind of easy to forget, but this is with the, can't remember if you call that bitmap or this kind of pixelation. Really smart over here, and frankly, really smart over here. Great decisions with an awesome result, and I just love it. Blueprints, and you see a modular synth on its side. So a lot of us are synth geeks that are in this digital art space, and it's kind of hilarious. It shows. So here it's a series of 4. Really cool. I think we can just quickly go through the series. So this is blueprint number 3, the Side Hustle Museum. Okay, you see a keyboard here and maybe some Side Hustle sculptures. Just really cool. Number 2, LVL 28 unlocked. So I guess that's level 28. Some plants, some screens. Great stuff. I've only picked up one of these, but I might have to pick up more. What is this? Sorry. Lonely Keyboard, blueprint number 1. So this is the first one. You see the keyboard here. The Lonely Keyboard, great title too. So just a awesome series I wanted to highlight. New myth, very interesting in the before we open it up here. Good Morning, What is Real is the title. Minted on Hen, and the Myth 2022 Pixel Brush on Procreate. So that's cool he's putting the description, because this is very helpful. And I've seen him on Twitter using Procreate. Now he's using a pixel brush, so he's kind of using a tool he was using on Microsoft Paint, the pixel brush, or the brush, which is probably a pixel. And now he's using a pixel brush on Procreate, probably because it's just less labor intensive. Like you're using probably a pencil or stylus rather than a mouse, I'm guessing. Just guessing, unless you have a Wacom. I don't know. So here's the work. Strange work. You have the myth getting out of bed. There's a woman here still sleeping. A little toy here. You have a phone with MF, or is that Drew? I'm not sure. More cigarettes. Sandals that don't seem to match, interestingly. The coffee is spilling. Again, this is like a narrative painting you'd see in a contemporary art museum. The super long cigarette. So full of symbolism. The horse. I think this is Joe Rogan's dad, as I learned the kind of tropes of this culture. Great abstract work right here, with kind of the myth, ribbons, for lack of a better word. And then you see that mirrored by the myth ribbons here. And you see almost this outdoor area. And at first I thought, okay, this is a painting in the room with Joe Rogan and then some sort of meta thing. But actually, the more I look at this just looks like an architectural structure, but then in the middle of a landscape, because you see the landscape is continued here, and then you see this hilarious bus with myth on it. Another version of the myth, the Taj Mahal with, again, like a myth inside it. So just classic myth, full of details, contemporary clothing, here. So that is available it's a 1 of 1 for 1,000 Tezos. I think he wrote, make me an offer though. So you might be able to get it for cheaper. They've been going for about 200, 250. So you might be able to get it for that. I'm basically out of money. I've been saying that for a couple of months now. But I'm basically out of money. So I'm kind of done. Really cool piece, though. And some hilarious... who put this out? Xerox? Right, so just kind of a hilarious kind of Twitter thing going on with the myth. Big congrats to the man, the myth, the legend, myth at Sotheby's, LFG. Mikey de la Creme puts out, and we have this picture of myth coming out at Sotheby's, and then Xerox got in on the action. And, when you see this, just checking it now online, big congrats to Myth and Sotheby's for having such vision. And this is funny because it's true. In the sense that, okay, this is not a real news story, and myth is not on Sotheby's, as far as I understand, at least. Otherwise, I'll pop the champagne and start celebrating that I can quit my job. What I like about this is how convincing it is. I could see this, and it looks great. I think they have a sale right now, the Natively Digital sale, and it's kind of tempting to contrast. I'm not going to, but you wonder, does this look better than what they have? And those clouds and sky and just everything he does, even the hair here, this looks very convincing. In the sense of not just he photoshopped it right. It looks convincing because that art looks like it belongs with the Sotheby's logo on top, out for auction. So pretty hilarious, fun stuff. Was there any more? Oh yeah, and then there's this. And then Strano, maybe I'll play this. This is great. Okay, I can turn it up. Check this out. Myth work here.
And now to a major moment.
Again, very convincing.
I started bidding here at $40 million. 41, 42, 43 already at 43 million. 44 is bid, 45 in the room, 46, 47 in the 51, 52, 56 in the room.
So, totally hilarious.
And now to a major moment.
Totally hilarious, because it just looks so convincing. A nice, awesome myth work. I don't have that one. I'd love to own that one. Beautiful work. Like, look at how convincing that all looks. Okay? Again, it just evokes like digital renaissance. When people kind of use that term kind of loosely, I think. But when you see works like this, it does make you think. Quick update on Louis Osborne and his selling strategies, because I think this is useful for everybody. He's kind of paving the way in a lot of ways, not because he's necessarily the huge innovator, but because he has to, because he's got to keep the masses happy while trying to kind of make a living out of this. So as he just put here, as I've tried out a few methods of selling now, I'm curious to know what y'all prefer. All top offers, half top offers, half random, and all random at a fixed price. I actually think the most popular was all random, but I think you should make space for people that are willing to pay and who really want your work. Like maybe the Museum of Modern Art really wants a Louis Osborne for some reason at some point in the future. And are you just going to say, sorry, MoMA, we're just going to keep it all random? I think this half top offers and half random is kind of a nice way of doing it, where I just think it's a really nice balance. It didn't get the most, but it almost did at 45%. So I just wanted to point this out because this is kind of interesting market moves. Update from Strange Thing, just a couple of things here, actually some pretty exciting things. The first was he gave a little tip to everybody on, remember we used Midjourney yesterday on Discord. There's another tip he gave us, a tip if you type ARXY, for example, 16 by 9 at the end of your prompt, it will give you the ratios you want, 10 by 9, 2 by 3. Seems to be a sweet spot for portraits on Midjourney. Another great video to start my day. Thank you. Well, thank you for watching. And I appreciate the comments. It's awesome. It's awesome I think most of the people that watch this program are artists, and probably the rest are collectors, and the rest are just art aficionados. So it's totally awesome. But let's not miss this, because this is the bigger news. Love seeing Rat Cloak updates too. Hopefully a collab wouldn't be off the table, and I can bring him over to the AI dark side. Rat Cloaksy sounds great. Gotta do it. So we're making a little bit of news here on Artist Journal here. Let's see if this materializes. Could be fun. AI work I kind of bought into yesterday. So Sumi Ray, sometimes also known as Sumi Rayuc, probably another name I'm mispronouncing. It's Bazaya, by the way, not 3A, 5A, 1A. It is Bazaya. But so just another interesting AI work. As I was creating the museum in my mind, I realized I didn't really have enough of an AI exposure to kind of represent the digital art museum to do it. I can't not have any AI. So yesterday, I saw that I could get the first, here, I'll just bring up Sumi Ray, her AI work. I saw I could get the first 6, and there was a 1 of 1 in here that went for 300. And again, I'm out of money now, officially, I would say. And I saw I could buy all 6 for basically like something like 350. And so I just thought, this will look great. It looks like a series of sorts that she worked on. It's the first. She's been working with AI for a while. So that's how I justified it to myself. So I picked up these 6 and the 1 of 1 for 300. So that person who got it at auction for 25. But again, I just see the museum in my mind, and I just go, this is going to be a fantastic room. You know what I was thinking to myself, you know what it'd remind me of is the Orangerie. For those, I don't know if, I'm sure some of you have been to Paris, not in Neukölln, that's hilarious. In Paris, near the Louvre, close to the Musée d'Orsay, on the way to the Musée d'Orsay, you will see the Orangerie, which is a whole bunch of Monets. It's a spectacular, one-of-a-kind place. They have some other works in the collection, but it's kind of all about the Monets that you saw there at the very beginning. These ones here. Now, I didn't have necessarily this room in this curved room, but yeah, that's a must-see if you go to Paris. Yeah, go to the Orangerie. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is just like, we have one-of-ones of this early AI work. That's how I justified it to myself. A new work by Purple Drank, and this is in this Il Canto Pepe. So he's got a couple of Pepe series, which are a lot of basically fun, which are very kind of collectible. You see he did this collaboration with The Myth. And I've bought actually quite a few. I mean, there's a lot of demand, first of all. And you see the purple. And he's even got some, I can't remember what you call these shoes. I used to have a pair. I actually wore them on a date once, like 5 years ago. I never lived that down. I can't, yeah, you live and learn. You see a portrait that was done of Purple Drank, I think by Motam, if I remember the name right. So again, awesome references. Looks like Conan the Barbarian on his savage sword of savage sword of Pepe on his throne. And if you want to see, here I put Canto in the search when you're on Purple Drank's page, and you'll see just like some awesome works. Like these are classic. They go for a lot of money. Actually, this one's 25. It's not terrible because these are very popular because the Pepe's just has its own subculture, as we know. The frog. So is there any others? And also you can look at the Book of Bad Ideas if you search on his page. And he's got a ton more. Just some like really kind of classic. I love these. And cheap actually. Huge editions, 223. But yeah, I mean, so just kind of classic. We can't kind of do this series and talk about Tezos art without touching on this series. Again, I picked up some. I was like, you just kind of need it for the museum, kind of a Greek theme here. So parodying, I don't want to say parodying, maybe it is. There's probably another word for it where you're not quite spoofing, but you're using previous art and you're kind of playing off of that. There is a word for it. We'll come up with it. I'll find it for a future episode next time so you see just kind of fun, cool work. This is just another work. This artist is just kind of interesting. Ezra Eslin, Pianos on Fire. You see there's a market for her work too. Someone's already offering 13. This was released September 12th, yesterday. 13 sold out. Let's just look at the history here. Yeah, like released at 4 my time and sold out by 4:15, selling for 6. So cool artist. I think we brought up her work. Let's just bring up her work quickly. So yeah, just kind of a edgy illustrator artist. I mean, kind of a little bit of murder and death here and fire, blood on the keyboard. But you see, it goes for a pretty penny, this work. So just an Istanbul-based illustrator, designer, NFT artist, Ezra Eslin. So just another to note along the way here. Again, Piano on Fire is just always kind of a fun theme. This was basically my last purchase. I bought this. It was $250. It was a one-of-one Bazaya, and I just thought, I've had my eye on this one, and they dropped the price from $500 to $250. And they sort of moved it around. Fort Gallery had it, put it on auction. I didn't see that. Otherwise, I might have picked it up. Then it was relisted, then sent to Bazaya. So anyway, so it's been around. And I thought, if I don't kind of jump on this with these one-of-ones, once they're gone, they're gone. And I just thought, I'm doing it for this museum in my head, okay? So a really cool work, the start of his wrestling series. There's kind of this wrestler guy with the Virgin de Guadalupe, a remix of it with some sauce of sense of humor and a little bit of flexing flow. So I just went for it, and that was pretty much my last, what I'd call, great purchase. And now it's all just kind of new stuff, and if I miss it, like, let's see. Also, finally, Spoggles Maskinen, I think he's Danish, from Denmark. Just kind of an interesting work. He's also just one of these guys you see pretty early on when you're touring. Just weird. No information here. This might be burnt, actually. There's 0 editions. Yeah, he did burn this. See if he did a new one. He also did this one, which we never touched on, actually, last time. Pretty cool work. And we're almost done here. You see how much is, like, going on here? Oh, are we going to get this on? We might have to do this. It's a heavy file. We might have to do this another episode. Let's go back and we'll see if this loads up. There's also Kevin Crypto. He put out a new work. I collected a few of these computers. He's got another one. Everything's loading slowly for me here, but just kind of words on computers. And he's doing, I guess he's done a few other things since, but I kind of like just the simple concept here. OG, ape, YOLO. So just, crypto words, vibe, fun. I'm a dad. I have 2 daughters and 1 wife. I buy NFTs with Sol, Tez, and ETH. I create NFTs for fun, and I've actually sold one. So Kevin Crypto, let's see if, yeah, here is this work by Spoggelskinen. It's a pretty wild work here on surveillance. Again, like, to me, this is, you're not going to be, if you go to a contemporary museum or gallery, I'm not going to be disappointed if I see this. I'm going to be like, okay, this is worth my money. So that tells me something. Security, nice title, simple. Couple of pixel works, and I think we're done from mech.txt. And that's it. So let's wrap it up there. I have a new work that I'm going to be minting probably tomorrow, if not today. Probably tomorrow morning I'll mint this. This is from the Screen Memory series, based on a Parmigianino and Portrait of a Woman. And with that, thank you once again for joining me. Until next time, take care.